Hi everyone, it's Vince. I sure hope you're doing well as you get used to making some changes in your life as we all deal with coronavirus. I thought I'd make another vlog entry, just give you an idea of some of the things we're going through at my office to bring you the headlines and give you information on things that are changing here and how we're adapting here in the city of Chicago for the coronavirus. But the first thing that I wanted to share with you is, what do you do after you come home from a day at work and you see your family who've been working sheltering in place in the house? My wife and my daughter, I want to relax too, but I'm not joining them because their way of relaxing is watching Contagion. I thought I'd relax a little bit more by just sharing some of this information with you there. So my story today was about Chicago Public Libraries, and a major change was announced about 2 hours after my story aired. But what got us going on the story in the first place is that we were hearing from librarians and also some people who were walking by the libraries. They were wondering why the libraries were still open, and they were. And it's part of that debate. Do libraries fall into that same category as schools, or do they fall into that category like transportation as a public service? And so we went inside the libraries with our cameras, and we did see people working very closely together at computer terminals, for example, in one library. The social distance was not the recommended length. Folks didn't necessarily have gloves on, although we did find one library patron who did have gloves on. And there were notices at the doors asking people if they felt ill to not come inside. What happened about 2 hours after our report aired, at about 8 o'clock, our report aired at 6, the city of Chicago announced that they were going to make some changes in the way the libraries are open. So 61 branches starting on Saturday are going to be closed. But another 17 will remain open on a Monday through Friday basis. In making the announcement, there was information from Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office that said that she recognizes that libraries play a crucial role in many neighborhoods, a key role in many communities, and that's why there is this effort to keep as many open as possible. 17 is certainly not the majority of libraries, but it will make a difference. I also thought you would find this interesting, by contrast, the way my hometown here, Evanston, is handling their library situation. When you go to the library, there are construction barriers out front, not letting you get into the library. The libraries are closed. There's a sign there that they're going to be closed at least through April 12, and then they will reassess, all because they want to try to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Now let's talk about the story I did yesterday. And there was some change about 24 hours after our story aired. So our story was about people who've been laid off from their jobs, furloughed, or facing tough times and wondering what they're going to do about paying their utility bills and other bills. And so what we learned today is that the governor has issued a directive placing a moratorium on all disconnections of utilities and all late fees until May 1st, but not just until May 1st, but also if the crisis continues after then this moratorium will continue. So how did we put our story together? Well, we spoke to John, who's a pretty successful musician in a number of bands, and he returned from several gigs abroad just a few days ago, and as soon as his plane landed, he said his cell phone went off and there were 19 cancellations of gigs. He lost about 2 months worth of work, and he told us he was worried about how he was going to pay his rent. Let's take a look at how we interviewed John. We were inside his apartment, but we kept our social distance about 6 feet away while we spoke to him, but he did play some music for us. And I was working, by the way, with Alfredo Roman, who's one of the most creative photographers I've ever worked with, and fast. And not only did he shoot the story on his own camera, he also had time to bring along his own drone, and he gets stuff done real fast, which is important when you face the tight deadlines that we face. We also spoke with a vice president from ComEd. ComEd was being very proactive, and they issued a moratorium on disconnections and late fees in anticipation of what the governor was able to announce 24 hours later. But I want you to take special care to notice how we did this interview in a public park with the vice president from ComEd. We kept a very large distance between each other on a park bench, and then Alfredo rigged our microphone to be sort of like a boom microphone over the two of us and to pick up our voices. And I thought you would find that familiar, some of the things that we are going through to get the story to you. I'll give you for instance from today, for example. I haven't been in the office since Friday. Most of our crews have not. They're working on a skeleton, with a skeleton crew. back at the office. But I got most of my story done, and we had to get it done earlier today. So my deadline was like 3 o'clock, and it was like about 4 o'clock when the story was edited by someone in-house. But I was parked with my crews working with another phenomenal photographer, DeAndre, today. And the story was done at 4 o'clock. We were released. We were told we could go home, and I'm trying to avoid public transportation right now. And I asked if I could wait in the lobby for my ride to pick me up. And the answer was no. That's how strict we're being. Those are the precautions we're taking. But those are smart choices that our company is making because they want to be able to protect all of their workers, whether those are the workers inside the building or those outside. So just a slice of life from what we go through to bring you the story, but I thought it would be an interesting one. So I hope you continue to get through this as best you can. One thing I found is that it's given me the opportunity to enjoy more time with my family. We're spending more time together talking, a lot more concentrated around the dinner table, and I just think that's something that's wonderful. So you know what, everybody? We got this. We're going to get through it. And every once in a while, I'm going to share some information with you here. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you shortly.